Hi, this is Rico. When I'm out creating chaos, there's nothing I like more than the soothing sound of Mike Oldman.
Hello and welcome to episode 27 of Things We Play. It's Tuesday the 24th of July. My name's Mike Oldman and I am joined once again by Sean Hart.
Hello.
And Joseph. Sorry. Joe Tonetta.
Hello.
Hello, Joe.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. You?
You always have such a warm sort of voice when it comes in. When you say hello, it's not like how you speak normally, so don't read too much into it. But when you come in with your big hello, it's kind of like, I don't know, there's an inviting quality to it that I hope the listeners pick up on.
I try to be inviting them more.
Yeah, that's what makes you creepy. How are you, Sean? You alright?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourself?
I'm okay. I'm sunburnt.
Yeah, you are.
Actually, yeah, it's good that this isn't a video show because I'm like proper English sunburnt.
Yeah.
Which I don't think I've been in like many years. And it really hurts, so that's good. Mainly on the face as well, which is a nice touch. Although I'm going to have permanent t-shirt marks now on my arms, which is also good. I find they do last the entire year. Like when this happens, like it's just sort of like, yeah, that's it. I'm for a year now. I'm going to have pale shoulders and like just awesome brown arms.
I always have that. I tan really easily, so I've always just got a line.
It's not good.
No,
it's not a good look, but it does seem to be a UK thing.
I imagine.
And I haven't been anywhere either. You know, it's just in the sun. That's kind of the worst part. So, excellent. There's no games. We've discussed this.
Yeah.
Just get into the tradition of saying there's no games at the beginning of every episode.
Which is what we say pretty much at the beginning of every episode.
Yeah, exactly. But we are still in that little lull. Summer of Arcade has started. Tony Hawk's HD was the first one, which we'll chat about a little in this show. But other than that, there's not really anything out there.
No.
And people are going. As a result, people are going outside.
Yeah.
And
it's dangerous.
Yeah. So that's good. So let's have a bit of a catch up then. Sean, how have you been? How's your week been?
Yeah.
Done anything?
I've mostly been watching TV to compensate for the lack of games.
So it's been beautiful weather outside.
Yeah.
So you thought I'll whack
Draw
on
the curtains.
Yeah. 6 DVDs later. That's it. You just passed out in the living room.
Yeah,
Good much. Good man. What have you been watching?
I watched Skyline the other night.
Yeah, Skyline. You must have seen this, Joe.
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it either. It was the one that came out at the same time as Battle Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And my understanding is this was made by kind of no one. Like I think it was a special effects house that kind of went, we made a really long special effect by mistake. Let's see if we can sell
a
it
running
as a movie.
advert, an hour and a half.
Yeah,
hour and a half advert. It was surprisingly not that bad. I mean, it's not going to set the world on fire. It's not anything clever or new, but it made me appreciate that there's a kind of lack of Independence Day style video games to accompany this sort of film when you watch it.
Okay.
There's dogfighting games out there, but they're kind of mostly World War 1 and 2, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's certainly not a big thing sort of these days, and certainly not console. Anyway, you have things like Crimson Skies, I suppose.
But I just kind of want
Xbox.
an open world game where you can get into jets and fight alien invaders.
So is that? And I'm not entirely sure because I haven't played it in a long time, and I think it's changed. But is that not Warhawk on the PS3? Is that what they were trying to do? And now Starhawk, where you've got sort of like on foot. Do you really want open world with planes?
Yeah. To fight against aliens, specifically
fight against aliens. Yeah, because there was the Independence Day game's kind of a good reference point because that exactly was that old PS1 game where it was just literally dogfighting and you're in jets and those shit-looking spacecraft.
Yeah,
and that was it. And there was also the problem with Independence Day as a game from that sort of angle is those are the only two crafts. There was nothing else, was there? It was just like Independence Day had those big motherfucking discs in the sky and then the little pod things.
Yeah.
But that was just a dogfighting game, and it was all right. It wasn't bad.
I don't
Total FMV.
want just a dogfighting game though.
You want to run around?
Oh
outside.
yeah, I want kind of laser guns and fighting against giant robots, and then jumping into airplanes, and then dogfighting and boarding alien crafts.
Yeah,
I want
that's
a
nice.
lot. To be
Yeah,
fair.
yeah. Well, yeah, it's because it would have to be an open world game like that, and you're talking like. I feel like what you're asking for is almost less. Like you want like Saints Row 3, but in a bigger world with all the jets and stuff, with all the cars taken out.
Yeah, no, you could have cars
But then why would you use the jets?
to dogfight,
Yeah, I suppose.
to board alien spaceships.
I suppose. So what?
I kind of want
Yeah.
the the space sections of Star Wars Battlefront. Is it?
Yeah.
It's where you kind of jump into a ship out of your hangar bay, fly onto an enemy ship, and then take it down from the inside. I kind of want that aspect,
Okay.
and I want the dogfighting from it as well.
So you want
But
a
I
new
also want
Battlefront.
GTA on the floor.
Yeah. It sounds like you want something in between a new Battlefront game. Well spotted there, Joe. And Just Cause 2 multiplayer.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, you want
I
you
don't
want
necessarily
open
want to play.
worlds.
I don't want to play with other people. I'm quite happy to play by myself.
Okay. All right. So you just want more flying stuff, which is a weird request because flying stuff is
Generally bad.
it's not always great because as soon as you get into that sort of like I can move literally 360 degrees like in a sphere.
Yeah.
Then I'm all
you
over
forget.
the place.
Yeah, you forget
Yeah.
what's up and what's down, and nothing locks on. And
Never had that trouble playing Ace Combat, things like that. I never get lost in the sky. I always know whereabouts I am.
I don't get lost in the sky so much. It's just that whole thing of like, Just Cause 2 is a good example actually of if you get into a plane in Just Cause 2, the way that journey ends is with the plane exploding. And it's the same for a lot of open world games, right? It's the same for Saints Row. Very rarely are you parking that vehicle and then going back to it. Saints Row is a bit different actually because you've got the vertical takeoff stuff, which is, I suppose, the whole reason for that.
Yeah.
But any jet you get into in anything, GTA or even a helicopter, about 9 times out of 10 it ends with it exploding. So it's not necessarily so much me getting lost in space, or in sort of 3D space, as it is just, man, these things go too fast and are too delicate to land.
Yeah.
That I don't bother. But you're obviously an expert, Joe.
I'm not an expert. I just can.
Yeah. Fair enough. Those that can.
So
are experts.
you've parked jets in Just Cause 2. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, in the middle of a street.
Yeah, it's bold.
Yeah, it's bold,
I've
and
not
you can
even
never
tried.
take them back off again. But I've landed them.
I've not even tried. I just bail out of every single jet in Just Cause.
So it may be then quite difficult for you to get to this magical open world dogfighting game that you want.
Yeah, I have no
I don't
delusions
feel
that it's going to ever turn
I'm
up.
not sure the audience is
Unless
necessarily
I
there for
make it, unless I start a Kickstart fight.
Yeah, I suppose. Okay, fair enough. And that ties to Skyline because...
Just when I was watching it, because there's big dog fights
Okay.
towards the end where the kind of army turn up.
And what are they like? Are they alright?
Yeah, the kind of nondescript.
Because like
generic.
Independence Day had all right dogfights in
Yeah,
the movie, that
yeah.
is, and they were, and akin slightly, I guess, to sort of Star Warsy stuff.
The film feels a lot like Independence Day, but from a flip point of view, rather than seeing it from kind of pilot and the other guy's he's a news reporter, Jeff Goldblum, isn't he? But
No, he's like a scientist.
Yeah,
is he? But
Yeah.
he kind of gets swept up into this whole the government aspect of it. He's kind of working with the government in that, and you see it from the military point of view. Independence Day, Skyline is seen from survivor civilian point of view.
Okay, all
which kind of put a different twist on it. But in a lot of respects, it's very similar to Independence Day.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, big ships and aliens. And...
It's got a really nice bit where they're in the hotel room for like kind of 24 hours, 48 hours, and it just as it pans across the room, they're in time lapse, so they're like doing stuff and moving around quickly, and you see the kind of sun go up and down. It's quite a nice little bit in it.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. I wasn't expecting much. There was no game attached to that, was there?
No.
Because there was a Battle LA game.
Yeah, that was
Which I
was
think
terrible.
was pretty bad.
Yeah,
Terrible.
Yeah, but wasn't that as well? It was Saber Interactive again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, exactly. So I think
They're
now
doing a good
you
job.
should now have a good idea of what they're capable of, and like for the best thing they've done to be sort of like just reskinning Halo.
Yeah.
They're two games, this and Inversion. Yeah, not great. So no Skyline game, but dogfights. Play the Independence Day and give it a go. Give the PS1 game a go.
Maybe.
It looks horrible
Find it.
now,
Right.
and but you can do like 2-player dogfights. It was the
Okay.
closest you could get on that platform at the time to getting that sort of multiplayer Star Fox going.
Right.
Which wasn't great either.
Yeah.
It's kind of all right.
Yeah. I used to play a lot of Star Fox, 64 multiplayer, 4 players, and it was never as fulfilling as Mario Kart 64 4 players.
Yeah, no, exactly. It had a similar vibe though. That was the closest thing I imagine it felt like was the sort of battle because they were really small spaces, weren't they? But it was all kind of crap if you were on foot or in a tank.
Yeah, he was just a walking target, basically.
So, but dogfighting can be awesome. I think that actually the thing is, I quite like dogfighting games. Again, there aren't many of them, and the hardcore ones or any sort of the World War II stuff is always a bit crap. It's always a bit too simulational. You didn't get enough feedback from when you're shooting down other enemies.
Right.
But the reason why Star Fox was really good in that sort of thing, and that's what I kind of loved, was all the manoeuvres that you can kind of do with it.
Yeah.
You didn't have to worry about shooting so much. You were shooting and you'd be hitting them quite easily.
Yeah.
But what made the game tactical and cool was the fact you had these barrel rolls and flipping back, reversal things. And that was cool. And that's a similar thing to sort of Crimson Skies, I suppose.
Right.
So yeah, that, I'm down with that. You watched anything else in your avoiding sunlight mission?
Yeah, I watched the first episode of Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation.
Excellent.
As it's just turned up on Netflix. It's not good.
I think that's already available on Crackle.
Right.
I think you can already see that on Crackle. Yeah, that's the one with it's live action and they look like they're bad suits for a start. But isn't there a chick turtle in it?
Yeah. I don't know what her name is. She's literally revealed at the end of the first episode, and I'm never ever going to watch it again. I'd rather scratch my own eyes out. It's like a crap version of Hercules, and Hercules is pretty bad, which I've also been watching a fair amount of because it's on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like Power Rangers quality. It's pretty fucking
But
bad.
but even Power Rangers was better.
Well,
It's got to be better, right?
no.
I think it's the same company though. I think it's the same.
Well, that's why
I
it's
can't remember
probably
who
of
the,
similar quality to Power Rangers.
who are the people that put out Power Rangers? I can't remember
Bandai?
who it is. No, it's Oh, I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, I think it's the same company that did that Turtles series. But all their stuff's sort of that sort of similar ilk. So that does sort of make sense.
That is, dog shit. Avoid it like the plague.
What about you, Joe? How's your week been?
Very dull. I haven't done much. Played a fair amount of computer games. Watched a lot of TV as well.
A lot of TV. You've been
And some
watching
films.
Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, I've got season 4 now of Sons of Anarchy.
So you enjoying that? It's bringing out the inner biker in you?
I do want...
Or is it bringing out the Ron Perlman in you?
No, I do want a massive Harley Davidson and punch people in the face. I was going to say wearing leather, but...
I think you should just get a chopper bicycle and spray it black.
I've been thinking more and more. I think it's just because the sun's out that I kind of want a bike. Like I really want like a motorbike. I'm never going to get one, and my basic view is I will die on one if I have one. But I kind of really want one now. I just want a kind of open face helmet, slow sitting back, just tooling around. That'd be cool.
Yes, I really
I
want
hate
that.
just the little lid things are, man.
Nah, man, those helmets are cool. I used to hate those. I used to be all for like the big motocrossy stuff and the like Master Chief helmets. That was like the way it would go.
Cool.
But no, the little open face ones now, they're awesome. There's something cool
I think
about
the
those.
pair of you should get a chopper each.
Yeah.
You spray yours gold, Mike. Joe sprays his black. Come up with a little patch to go on the back of your jackets.
Yeah.
And start a bike again.
Yeah.
The things we play biker gang.
Why not? Why not?
Can do.
Bros Angels.
Bros Angels.
Doesn't sound queer at all.
Totally fair enough. All right, well, let's have a look at some games we've been playing then. Sean, let's start with you. What have you been playing?
Been playing a lot of Just Cause 2 actually.
Okay, that's
leading on for our discussion.
Yeah,
and man, it's good.
Yeah,
it's still good. It's still good.
It is still good. It's one of those games that it's always quite. You find it hasn't dropped in price massively in shops.
No.
It still gets.
I think it's still around
pretty
15 quid,
decent
isn't it?
penny.
Yeah.
For a game that old. I've been watching videos of it because of the multiplayer stuff.
Yeah.
I've been thinking, damn, I kind of want to dip back into Just Cause 2.
I'll give you a copy back if you want it.
Yeah. Well, that's always what happens as well. Whenever you borrow a game off me, it's like, damn, I want to play that now. Just Cause 2 is cool.
Yeah.
It is cool. The stunts are cool.
I think one of the reasons that I love this game so much is that you got me a copy pretty early.
Right.
It was like 2 weeks, and when we was at Game Station, stock only really came in like about a week before. So I had it like a week before everybody else at work as well. So that got me pretty hyped on it. And it's one of the few games that I actually sold at Game Station. And I don't mean like people come up to the counter and go, I want to buy this. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, if someone was like, oh man, I want an open world game, I don't really know what to buy. I'm like, dude, you play Just Cause 2? And they're like, no, why not? This game is fucking awesome. You get into a sports car, you bomb along, you flip onto the bonnet, you take out a couple of guys behind you, you jump back into your sports car, you go off a cliff, you flip out your parachute, you grapple on to the ground, you pull yourself along, you get back into an aeroplane, you fly along. I sold this game to a lot of people. I made Square a lot of money from this.
It's a game that still people are finding. That's what I always find interesting. Like if you're reading stuff online or whatever, there's always people going, oh shit, I need to check out Just Cause 2.
Yeah.
Or the amount of people that bought Just Cause 2 on 360 and on PC just for like mods and stuff has been mental, and it just keeps on selling. I was remembering yesterday the DLC was pretty good for it. I completely forgot about the DLC because
the vehicles?
Yeah, and like there was the jetpack thrusters that would you go onto your parachute were awesome that you could use. There was the I can't remember what it was called now. We had like a gravity blowing gun thing where you could just like blow
some of that stuff.
Yeah, and it was cheap. All of our DLC was really cheap. It was like 180 points and stuff.
Right.
But one of them was like I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a giant leaf blower essentially. So you could just blow cars like over stuff. It was wicked. It was good fun.
I played a fair amount of Just Cause when I got it, but I never got into it as much as you guys did. I liked it. It just never grabbed me.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, the story was terrible.
Yeah.
The voice acting.
The voice acting was so terrible. It was
questionable.
Great.
Yeah.
Bolo Santosi was amazing.
I had a lot of fun playing it. I just never wanted to go back to it since then. It's just never really.
Yeah. I must say, it's taken a while for me to go back to because I mean I lived and breathed that game for so long and did so many sort of demonstrations and stuff that it was kind of I needed to step away in order to go back. Also, man, I put 500 hours probably into that game. But it's still awesome, and I'm interested to know when you playing it now, Sean. Are you just dicking about in the open world, or are you going through the missions?
I started continuing from my completed game and got really bored quite quickly, so I've started a brand new game now, so I've got missions. I think what it really needs is, and it's never going to happen now, it's way too late, but it needs a nice big chunk of DLC to kind of
it would have been cool.
Get the blood flowing again.
I just love the second mission after you bust. I can't even remember anyone's name. Carl is his name. Carl.
Yeah.
After you bust him out of the casino, save him. The ride you get on the car is one of the best sequences in the game.
And it's a shame that there's not more of those in there. There's a couple where you're kind of hanging from helicopters and shooting. Yeah,
exactly. And you can do that a little bit in the open world stuff. If you jump on someone's car, you can sort of continue on. But once you're being chased in that second mission, and you're just shooting out car tires,
you just shoot out the front car tire, and the car just flips and explodes straight away.
I wasn't even doing that. I was using the grappling hook, so I was hitting the front of the car and doing it to the side, and they just go bam, and just flip off the road.
When I did the mission the other day, I did flip one off a bridge in spectacular style. Just tethered it to the ground and off it went over the side.
You've just got so many options as to what you can do, and like when stuff goes wrong, it's the awesome scramble of fixing it, of sort of like, oh my god, like I didn't blow up this car correctly, or I'm now in a parachute and you just grapple on something else. I kind of love the way you're constantly correcting your path. But that sequence is amazing. And flipping cars by shooting tyres is always fucking amazing. The only other game that I know that did it really well was Crackdown. First Crackdown did it.
Yeah.
And Crackdown 2 fucked it as well, which is also that's really annoying. But it was quite hard to do. And then Just Cause does it. Just Cause 2 does it in such a perfect way. The physics on the cars is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
And the reason I thought about that was because I was watching a load of Sleeping Dogs stuff yesterday, video footage of that. And you can shoot out cars and things. And it's got the ram function from the Wheelman, where you can like shunt cars on the roads. But you can shoot out car tires and they do flip over, but it's less physics driven and more just sort of like a canned animation almost. And it's not as cool. Like it's cool, but like no, Just Cause 2 nailed that.
Definitely.
And there is so much fun in it, just like causing massive pile-ups. I love it.
The one thing that I do remember is that you showed me the racetrack, and you could just like there's like sports cars whipping around the track. Just grab hold of a sports car, and there's windmills there. And what the challenge is to tether the car to the windmill so it catapults the car, and then untether it just at the right point so it goes sailing off into the distance.
The tethering system was brilliant. It's a shame that it wasn't stronger, like it would snap on certain things. There's little glitches and gimmicks you can do to make a much stronger tether.
Oh, okay.
Like if you break open a car door and then tether the door to tether another vehicle, whether to the car door that's loose, flapping around, it then doesn't read the car that's being towed, the second one, as a heavy object. It reads it as, I think, the same as the car door.
Okay.
So therefore, you can just the tether's a lot stronger, and you can fuck around with it in that way quite a bit. But there is some cool stuff you can do. I just loved picking up things in helicopters vehicles, whatever, going them straight up to as high as you can go, and then just jumping out of the helicopter and getting in the vehicle as it's falling. All that stuff's mental. The sound is mental in Just Cause 2. That's one of the things that I really love of when you when you have like some major crash of a mountain and the car is just spinning in the air. It makes the most incredible sound effects of just as the car spins and picks up speed. That's fucking brilliant. That and the sound of a helicopter without a pilot in it falling past you. You just hear like an alarm going.
The beeping.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, that's awesome. But getting back in a helicopter is brilliant. Just jumping out and going, just letting it tumble for a bit, skydiving in, getting back in and managing to write it is awesome. And that was never sort of like, it's never planned. The game never wants you to do that.
Yeah.
It just happens that you can. I think at first you couldn't do it. I think we had to patch it.
Right.
Because initially you couldn't gain control of the helicopter again.
Oh, okay.
But that and stuff like the gas tanks.
Yeah.
Tethering a dude to a gas tank, shooting the gas
canister,
tank, or riding them yourself is all pretty cool.
You can run pretty high, can't you?
So, Just Cause 2 was fucking mental game and huge.
Yeah.
Genuinely huge.
Well, I think the demo, the area of the demo is actually larger than Vice City, I think.
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
It's like 35 square miles, and Vice City's like 25 or
it's
something.
Just a crazy game. So I could go back and play some more of that.
There's, I think you forgive. It's got such awesome physics to it. I think you forgive quite a lot. The fact that the story is wafer thin. At the end, they're like drinking Bacardi while there's a nuclear explosion.
Yeah, I mean,
going
just
off in the
sets
background.
of a
It's like,
nuke.
It's just fucking ridiculous. And the voice acting, it just makes you want to like stab knitting needles in each ear, rather than listen to it. But the actual gameplay and the mechanics of it are so good. It's kind of, you forgive a lot.
It's interesting because obviously with the multiplayer stuff out there at the moment, the mod that's been made to make multiplayer, I've been watching a lot of videos of that, and that just looks insane. It looks absolutely insane. I still can't, for the life of me, figure out how they've got it working on such a big scale.
Yeah.
And with that many people, because there's like hundreds of people playing at the same time. But it looks mental. It completely falls apart because when you jack someone, you just literally, it's one button press and you've pulled another player out of their car and taken it.
Yeah.
And so you get a lot of jostling back and forth on that, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. But I also quite liked the sort of social behavioural stuff that's come out of that, because it's turned it into almost a bit like a comedy DayZ.
Yeah.
In that you can't go too close to someone, you have to avoid them because they will just jack your vehicle. So there is the sort of fear stealth aspect to it all. But it's cool. It's just nuts when you see someone, you're watching a video on YouTube and you're seeing some dude just wander by and suddenly like 3 cars would just come fly tumbling and like from the back just over him, or suddenly everything explodes. And that was cool. That was what made Just Cause good.
Yeah.
Car accidents, best car accidents in a game, I reckon.
Definitely.
And again, the jets, like I say, if you get in one, it's going down. It's going down, Joe.
Yeah. I generally crash a lot into the water just trying to... There's that achievement for flying so close to water for like 15 seconds. Always in the water. Just every time I tried it.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I don't think I've got it.
Played anything else?
Yeah, I've been playing a fair amount of indie stuff.
Stuff. Yeah, I think we've all had a bit of a look at some of the indie stuff, just because it's a nice fallback.
Yeah. I bought Retro Arcade Adventure, which is quite an interesting little title.
Sounds like it wants to be Retro City Rampage.
Yeah, probably.
I haven't seen this. So.
It's not. It's nothing like that. It's Horde mode in 8-bit style.
Yeah, it was weird when I started playing it. It took me by surprise because it's not what I was expecting. I was expecting more of an RPG.
Yeah, definitely. But it is just kind of like a continuous Horde mode. It's quite amusing in places. I think the best thing about it is the power-ups, because you don't level up or anything like that, even though it sounds like you're expecting a massive RPG, and it's going to have leveling and stats and all that sort of shit.
I'm imagining like top-down sort of like Smash TV sort of looking.
No, it looks more like
a classic Zelda.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's an arena rather than a scrolling screen.
Yeah, okay.
And then you have to, each level, you have to just clear X amount of enemies that are just constantly coming at you in waves and waves and waves. But then you get kind of crystals which give you power-ups and just do some mental shit. So you can get like rain clouds, and any enemy that walks onto the rain cloud will just die instantly. Get lightning strikes, which are your basic smart bomb that clears the screen. But then you get crap like the dragon crystal. It turns you into a giant dragon, which takes up like 70% of the screen. You're just walking along doing fireballs and just take everything out really rapidly. It's when you get to the last level. It's just, I don't know how to beat the boss. It's like his health just doesn't seem to go down. It's quality.
I didn't get that far when playing it. I just got through the first couple because I was just playing a trial.
Yeah.
But some of the magic spells on there are just mental. There's that one where it's just like green blobs that just come down the screen and look like monster just clears the screen, and giant comet. It's weird though. It wasn't what I was expecting.
No.
Just running around hitting things with a sword and maybe changing into the king of the land.
It was an interesting play.
Yeah, it sounds alright, I guess. It sounds like an indie game.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
it is definitely an indie game.
I've been playing a lot of indie games this week that felt like indie games.
Yeah, look like
So-
indie games, sound like indie games.
Yeah.
But then the kind of high quality ones are few and far between.
Yeah.
So I've also been playing Starwings.
Yeah. Dun 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 dun. And that is Starwing music, isn't it?
Yeah, it sounds Starwing-ish,
Good luck.
but it's not that one.
Alright, okay. It's not that. It's Starwings.
Yes, which is it's kind of strangely similar, but yet I had to kind of wonder, these kids who did voice acting in it sound really young.
Is it voiced?
Yeah.
'Cause I played Starwings as well. I'm not going to lie to you now. I downloaded Starwings. You did as well, Joe, right?
Yeah.
I didn't hear any voice.
Yeah, there's voices in there.
I might have had
the
the volume
volume
down. Yeah, I'm not sure.
But yeah, the really crappy drawn kind of cartoon heads that come up,
Yeah.
they're voiced, and the guys doing it sound like they're about 14.
Okay.
I don't know if their dad programmed it and they voiced it, but you're kind of wondering, like, have you played Starwing? You're kind of bold as fuck to name your game Starwings for a start, because I mean that's a loved game.
Yeah, I suppose. But then, yeah, what were you expecting from Starwings? Really? I mean, there has to be at least 5 or 6 straight to DVD movies called Starwings.
Right,
I reckon. And with like covers that look vaguely like other movies. I was not expecting much from this game.
I wasn't. Literally from the picture alone, they're like,
There is a shit ton of text.
is there?
Those bits that are voiced with
Oh,
people,
yeah,
there's
yeah,
loads
yeah,
of
yeah.
it.
It
It's
just
just like,
goes on for ages,
fucking
so-
hell. Okay, is this the one that I played? No, one of the other games I played had a lot of text in my indie games this week. But yeah, this one had a lot. Those bubbles that come out when
Yeah,
people are talking, way too many of them. Way too many. It's R-Type.
Yeah, but it kind of steals elements from Star Fox as well. The fact that you have 3 ships, 1 red, 1 green, 1 blue. And then if either of those ships get taken out, because each one has its own separate energy bar, has a character and has its name. And if one of those ships gets taken out, it comes up with the big kind of repair sign like you get in Starwing as well. It's oh man, it is strange and dreadful.
Did it call them? What did it call the ships in it? I want to say it did call them Marwings
Wing
as well.
wing stars.
I
or
thought they called them
D-wings,
D-wings, yeah.
Oh really? Okay. Yeah, it's clearly someone who's seen Starwing at some point. But that's kind of it.
Yeah.
It was a bad game.
Yeah,
It's
dreadful.
terrible.
Yeah.
I hate the way the shooting works, because on most of those you hold down the button
Yeah.
and it constantly I'm just tapping A and it's just like it's not firing as fast as I want it to.
I had a really brief go on it, but I didn't find anything. I didn't get any power-ups or anything else. The level didn't change. I was just literally...
Yeah, I
scrolling.
don't know if there are power-ups. It's just kind of shooting a lot of asteroids and
Oh yeah, that was it. Asteroids, yeah.
and kind of pre-patterned enemies. It's your average side-scrolling 2D shooter, but the fact it has Starwing elements made it interesting. And I was kind of wondering, have these people actually played Starwing and kind of taken elements, or did they not and just kind of made a
fell onto
2D?
the name,
Yeah.
I suppose. If they'd call it Star Foxes, I don't know what I said, you know.
I've also played another indie title, SEAL Team 12.
SEAL Team 12. This sounds like Rainbow Six.
Yeah, no, not at all.
It's a top-down twin-stick shooter, but it's got... I was quite surprised by this. It does have really good humour in it. Or is that just me?
No, it does.
I haven't seen it. I haven't checked this out.
Yeah, no,
so,
it does have great humour taking the piss out of seals being...
Well, like cannon fodder style.
Yeah, to a degree. I mean, it's actually a pretty good quality title. It does something weird in the fact that the character sprites are of a different render to literally everything else in the game.
Yeah, the shooting system works really well as well. So yeah, the whole movement and shooting does really well. And the fact that you have one gun in your right hand and you can pick up power-ups with your other one, so it uses both triggers and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's not a twin stick shooter. You've got a button to press.
Yeah,
but you kind of aim with the right stick.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And you use triggers to fire your weapons.
Yeah, that's correct.
You get grenades as well. I think you use the bumper to throw a grenade, and it like brings up a little reticule so you can aim that as well. And you use it to get people over cover. And there's tanks in there as well.
Yeah. You can jump into tanks. But yeah, I thought it was pretty slick. in retrospect, I was thinking maybe I should have bought that over Retro Arcade Adventure. But I was kind of like, will I get that much use out of a twin stick shooter? I don't know.
I was tempted to throw the 80 Microsoft points out for it, but didn't do it.
Is there any co-op in it? It seems like that's a
I
big
think
ask.
there's local.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I always want sort of like Xbox Live co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you
With
think, oh
indies,
no, it's
yeah.
indie game. You're not gonna get that. But all right, yeah, that sounds like one to watch. We got any good indie games for us?
That was probably the best,
That's the best
of
one.
the bunch.
That's your pick.
Yeah.
That's your pick.
I've also played a demo of Raptor Resort, and the reason I kind of downloaded this is because from the gallery it was reminiscent of Jurassic Park Genesis, Last Generation,
Yeah,
which was
I know.
kind of like a
Is that the one where you were the
yeah, it's
raptor?
like a, no,
No,
it's like a Sim City
Oh, okay.
or like theme park
Right.
where you build up the whole resort. and-
Research new dinosaurs.
Yeah, and so this kind of came across as the sequel where everything had gone to shit and all the raptors had escaped. And yeah, it's pretty fucking bad, but at the same time, it's kind of amusing in places. It's like the fact that the entire park, everything in the park is made out of metal and it's all been ripped to shit. The only thing keeping all of these dinosaurs in this park is a wooden fence. It runs all the way
Yeah.
around.
Nice.
And then the first level, you've got to build up your buggy. So you've got to run out, grab tyres, grab wheels, locate them, grab them, bring them back to your 4x4 and reconstruct it, find a gun, add that on. And then it's like, yeah, man, you've got a Jeep and it's got a machine gun and it's really fucking shit. It just gets flipped constantly by the dinosaurs headbutting it. And then the gun goes sailing off and you've got to go find the gun. It's easier to just peg it around and shoot him with your pistol.
Yeah, I didn't even finish building the Jeep. So I was just running around because it's a twin stick shooter. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was just running around just shooting them with my pistol. Did you finish the level?
Yeah, I'd finished the second level. Oh no, maybe I didn't.
It
Yeah,
sounds
I
really
do.
cool. It sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It sounds better than it actually is.
Okay.
In between levels, you get the option to, because you earn cash through
Oh, yeah.
killing them and things like that, so you can like refill your health, and there's weapons you can buy, so there's like assault rifles and shotguns.
I
and
think I
those.
bought a submachine gun. Yeah.
Yeah, I brought an Uzi, and yeah, it's terrible. I just found myself just running around, just like, because the second level you got to find the helipad and
Yeah.
save the civilians. Fucking running around for ages, couldn't find the place to save my life. Just shooting, just raptor after raptor after raptor.
It's the Philiosauruses as well. Are those
The
the ones I'm
spitters.
thinking?
Yeah.
With the gills from Jurassic Park. Yeah. Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, and that's it.
Okay. Sounds like you've had indie games. They always get a bump
Yeah.
when there's no games.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said I did see on Twitter that you were trying to decide whether to buy Super Meat Boy or Joe Danger. Did you make a decision in the end?
No.
Okay.
Because I keep playing the demo of Meat Boy, and I get further every time I play the demo, and then I get to a level I'm like, this game's just gonna make me angry.
Yeah,
I don't
it has the
think I'll buy
trials, has a trials evolution
Yeah.
vibe to it.
I'm gonna smash something.
But it has nice bits as well, like the bits where it corrupts and the cartridge kind of breaks and stuff. It's kind of
Might be my joypad.
It's yeah.
Might be my TV. Might be Joe's face.
Fair enough.
Whatever is close
So,
to hand,
yeah.
I might punch.
I think if I was to go for the two, I'd go for Meat Boy over Joe Danger.
Yeah, Joe Danger's kind of a relaxing sort of game. It doesn't sound too. It does. From what I've played, it's not too taxing. But I'm worried that I'll get bored of it really quickly.
Yeah. I just would like to support those dudes more. I've
Yes.
watched Indie Game the movie.
Out
Edmund
of
and
the
the other
lot,
guy.
yeah. Out of the lot, they seemed like
Yeah, exactly.
the ones you want to give your money to.
There was some interesting stuff actually with Indie Game the movie that I kind of learned recently. 'Cause I was just looking into a bit more because I was mainly looking into Phil Fish and the fact that he's been a dick about everything forever on the internet. And I remember back to him in Indie Game the movie where he's freaking out about his partner.
Yeah,
And just going nuts, yeah, threatening to kill him and
Yeah.
just being like, generally a bit arsey. I just wondered, like, because I remember that it was kind of odd in that movie that Jason DeGroot is the name of his ex-business partner. It's just not in the movie at all.
No.
And it says at the end that he refused to participate in the movie. That was changed.
Yeah.
So like in a weird move, like I don't know, a couple of weeks after the movie came out, maybe even sooner than that. That line at the end of the credits just says Phil Fisher's ex-business partner refused to be in the movie. It's changed to was never asked to be in the movie. Kind of a big fucking difference
Yeah,
there
it
between
is
like
massive.
saying no and not ever being asked.
No.
What was more interesting was that it was actually Phil Fisher's new business partner that was executive producer on the movie.
Yeah.
So
it kind of shades things.
Yeah, and
quite a lot.
that kind of tainted the whole thing a little bit for me. Because
I
that
quite
movie
liked it as a movie.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
interesting and.
And certainly the Fed stuff was interesting as well, seeing this dude break down. But that's seemingly all he does on the internet. You know, at the time when he said that all Japanese game developers sucked and various other bits, he just Phil Fisher needs to just shut the fuck up sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe.
It's interesting because when I was watching it, I kind of felt his plight. I was like, yeah, it looks like things are like really fucking up for this guy. Even though I knew that everything could worked out fine because I own Fez. So it's like it was like not an issue. He obviously
And it
got
sold a
shit
lot of
sorted.
copies,
Yeah.
you know, it made a lot of money.
But at the time, he kind of looked like he's quite anguished. And my girlfriend kind of started watching the film halfway through, so she saw all the Phil Fish stuff, and she's like, "That guy's really, really weird." And I was like, "I don't know if he is. I think he's just having a tough time because you know he's apparently his business partners, his ex-business."
But I mean,
partners
it's
fucking him
painted
over.
all the way through that his business partner is a massive fucker.
Yeah.
You know, he's actually spoken about it since the movie's come out and said, like, the one thing if you're going to do, if you're going to start a business with someone else, never do the whole 50-50 split thing.
Right.
Like, that's the problem they had because they each owned an equal part of the company. When a decision couldn't be made, it lasted forever. You know, you need someone to have, you need some clause in
more
case
power.
to be able to go, if this happens and we can't decide, then this will happen.
Yeah.
You know? But they didn't have that, then this will happen, which is why it was so screwed. So yeah, it's interesting. But I think I do feel his plight as well in that sort of situation, but I also think he's a bit of a dick.
Yeah, it was like I was watching it and I felt for him and I was just like, I really don't care, just, you know, get on.
Yeah. It's always interesting to hear one-sided story is always
Yeah.
going to be one-sided, right?
Yeah.
All right, Joe, let's talk about what you've been playing.
I'm going to start with an indie game, so I played DLC Quest this week.
DLC Quest. We've spoken about this before, I think.
I don't know if we have.
No.
I think me and you have.
Yeah,
spoken
maybe
about
offline.
it. Yeah, but I don't know if we've ever spoken about it on the show.
Tell us about DLC Quest, Joe.
So yeah, DLC Quest is...
Sequest, DSV.
DLC Quest.
No, that was over his head.
Yeah,
Talking
completely.
dolphins.
Yeah, exactly. Wasn't that some sort of Spielberg thing as well?
It
Wasn't
might
he
be Spielberg.
originally involved in it. Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah. I think Star Trek in a swimming pool. Carry on.
Doesn't Star Trek have a swimming pool at one point full of whales in a film?
Probably.
Yeah, Star Trek 2.
The Quest for Earth or
Yeah,
something.
pretty sure it's Star Trek 2, yeah. Anyway, so DLC Quest is your side-scrolling, jumping, 2D platformer. But
I've played it. It's kind of a 2D RPG,
sort of.
platforming RPG.
Yeah, but they do the thing where the whole game is just taking the piss out of how much DLC there is these days. So the game starts and your character can only go right, cannot jump, cannot do anything, cannot go left.
Okay.
He can only go right, and then you go to a vendor that's on your right who sells DLC packs, and so there's a movement pack so you can go left again and start jumping. There's the animation pack so you can actually see his legs moving. There's a sound pack so you can hear it, and then it just goes on from there. So there's the you can get a horse armor pack which is like 240 of the in-game coins, and all it does is your static horse that just says neigh if you talk to it, get some gold armor. That's the only thing it does.
Yeah, that's quite cool.
It is quite amusing. To the point where you have to buy DLC to complete quests.
Yeah, there was a Flash game not so long ago, which I can't remember what it was called. It was something to do with DLC, I think. And it was exactly the same thing where you built the game as you played it,
right,
and you had to get all the DLC in order to finish it. And you know, it sounds almost remarkably similar, but that was kind of a vertical scrolling shooter.
Right.
Which is interesting. But yeah, no, carry on, Joe. It sounds wicked.
Yeah, no, it has some great little bits in there. So you come across a sheep herder, a shepherd, and he's like, please just don't kill my sheep. And of course you can kill all these sheep once you get a sword and things like that. And they have little gravestones. Whenever you kill one, it just sits there.
Oh really? I
Have
don't
you
think
not
I
killed
killed
one
any
yet?
of the sheep.
Yeah.
No.
And there's the whole bit with when you need a sword, you have to go to a grindstone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, to get this sword, you have to use the grindstone 10,000 times.
Okay.
And if you buy a DLC pack, it's only 10 times. So you can sit there 10,000 times just hitting the button just to get your sword, or you can buy the DLC pack.
What are you buying the DLC packs with in the game?
Right, so when you're jumping around, there's gold coins everywhere. And
Right,
you use
okay.
those gold coins to buy the DLC.
The other thing that I liked about it, it's got false achievements as well. I can't
Yeah.
remember what they're called. But it's something along the lines of achievements. But obviously, it's an indie game, so there's no achievement.
Yeah, that's quite cool.
Yeah, I thought it was quite amusing. It's a good little game. I liked it.
Yeah. They do great things with the names of DLC packs as well. So it's like you need a map and they call it a map pack.
I think the animation for like sound was this. The DLC for sound was like, this used to be free.
Yeah, yeah. There's loads of little bits and pieces like that. It's when you go to the left, you get into a random encounter, and the screen turns like it does in Final Fantasy. And the guy's like, you can't get past. The way to get past him is you have to buy the psychological warfare pack, and then it comes up in the description. This is a pre-order item and things like this. When you give it to the guy, he's like, oh man, I've been trying to get hold of this everywhere and things like this. It's just weird.
Yeah, it sounds quite clever.
Yeah.
It sounds alright. I might have to give that a look. Did you buy it?
I didn't know, so I got stuck at one point.
You got all this enjoyment out of just a demo?
Yeah. Well, I watched some more stuff on it. So loads of these bits. The psychological warfare pack was the bit where the demo stops, so you cannot buy it from the vendor.
Yeah, I might go home and play that.
I really enjoyed it. I wanted to buy that more than I did SEAL Team 12, but it's like I got 90 Microsoft points, and I feel like I don't want to get rid of 80 of those and leave myself with just 10. Something better might come along one day, but yeah, it was good fun to play. It had a great sense of humour about it. And I'm guessing the guy had a lot of stick for it, because at the beginning he says, this, you do not pay for the DLC, it all uses in-game coins as soon as you start it up.
Oh, I suppose, yeah. It's like a little disclaimer. Cause, yeah.
People go, oh,
Well, because there was that story as well this week about some kid that had run up, like, I don't know, 11,000 or 100,000
on his dad's credit card
with DLC and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and that's, those come up every now and then.
Yeah.
It seems not an unusual thing, but it reminds me of the other story that was something to do with Microsoft, which was if you turn on your Xbox, I don't know if this is still the case now, but just like 5 presses of the A button will, from like where it turns on,
Right.
will like end up buying you points, I think it was, or something. So it's like literally you don't have to move anything. You could just keep pressing the A button and it will automatically be buying you
Surely
points.
it'll just
from your
start your game.
Yeah, that's what it does now with the new
Yeah, I
dashboard.
think it's the previous one.
Right.
But yeah, no.
But some kid had done it, or some dog had done it, or something. It's just,
I know the story you were talking about, and the dad was like, they shouldn't be allowed. Kids shouldn't, have access to be able to do this. It just stuck his credit card details on there and left it. And then he was like, it's not the money that concerns me. I just want an apology from Microsoft. Just
really?
like, yeah.
Sorry for buying all of our stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just weird. I've been playing a lot of Battlefield this week as well.
You and your Battlefield, Joe.
Yeah, I've started getting back into it again.
Battlefield 3, I should add.
Yeah, Battlefield 3, yeah. So they put up the new trailer for Armored to Kill the other day, and I watched that and I was like, I've got to play some Battlefield. And then started playing with some guys. So I'm playing, there's 4 of us was playing last night. And it's so much better playing with other people. And we were just like pissing around and just doing random stuff. I got some hate mail.
Nice.
We
Nice.
drove a Humvee off a cliff. So there's a map called Damavard Peak, and if you're attacking on rush, you move forwards and forwards to the point where every time you die and spawn at the base, you have to jump off a cliff and parachute down to the enemies.
That's sweet.
Right, and if you steal the Humvee at the beginning and look after it all the way down, you can get 4 people in. You can just drive it off the cliff, but you'll have to bail out before the bottom, otherwise you will die. But it's great fun, just like parachuting just off this cliff.
So what got you the hate mail?
Oh yeah, I wasn't playing
What
the
did you
game.
do, Joe?
Yeah, it was the guy. The guy said some very harsh words to me on a message, and he gave me a voice message as well.
Nice.
Instead of
a follow-up voice message.
no, about 4 messages in total this guy sent me, and instead of attacking the objective like I was supposed to be, I was on my own against a team of 12. Everyone else was just pissing around doing something else. So in the end, I was just standing by the enemy's base, in between like a wall and some containers, just shooting guys as they were coming out of the base and things like this.
So he's camping.
Yeah, I was. I was actually playing a sniper and had a spawn beacon, so I could keep respawning and things like this. But the guy was just giving me hate mail, and I was just like, I don't care. It's not like I can attack this objective on my own. After a little while, I started getting annoyed with it and did attack the objective, and people started to help me after that.
Did you report him?
Yeah, I filed a complaint.
Yeah.
I was like, you're not going to send me evil messages because
I don't normally file complaints, but every now and then I'm just like, yeah, do you know what? Fuck you, and just hope that like when I'm doing it, when I'm filing the complaint, even though I know nothing's gonna happen, I imagine that like SWAT teams are busting through his living room windows and stuff. And it's like, yeah, you just fuck with the wrong person, man. File complaint. Bleep. That's it. Yeah, so
yeah, no, it was
good.
Yeah. The bit that really irritated me was he was calling me a shit faggot. Go back to Call of Duty in this. I was the top of both teams and had the most amount of kills, and he was calling me a faggot and shit and telling me to go back to
that's
COD.
because you don't pick on the little guy.
Yeah,
There's no fun in that. You pick on the dude at number 1 spot.
apparently so.
Fair enough.
It's jealousy, Joe. It's
I know.
just jealousy.
I know people just want to be with me.
It's weird that he knew you, but it's,
Well, yeah,
it's just jealousy.
Yeah, I know.
Such personal details about your life.
Yeah. So you're still playing on the last previous maps, the close quarters?
Yeah, I keep going back to playing close quarters with the new map types, and I've been having a lot of fun. I've been playing with Carl, who was on the episode before. The pair of us have been playing a lot of it. I think the pair of us played 6 hours the other day.
Nice.
Just running around 4 different maps. And yeah, it's just so much fun. It gets better and better the more you play it, so you start learning different routes through levels, things like this. And you just start using the destruction to your advantage. So you're blowing holes in walls and just like shooting people through them. And
Yeah, it sounds cool. I still want to play Battlefield 3 multiplayer. I never did because of the online pass.
yeah.
But I would like to. It's just a case
It's
of
so much
when, when's that going to happen now? No, that's cool. And so they did sort of announce Battlefield 4, didn't they, as well recently?
Yeah, so if you pre-order Medal of Honor Warfighter, you get the access to Battlefield 4 beta. And everyone was just like, oh my god, this is so amazing, you get the beta. I could have told you that when Battlefield 3 came out, that they were going to do Medal of Honor this year and attach the beta for Battlefield 4 to it.
Yeah.
They don't do a beta for Medal of Honor because it's done by Danger Close. It's just where DICE is, EA loves DICE, and they're just like, yeah, we'll just attach it to it. I've pre-ordered Medal of Honor, I'm going to get it, and I'll play the beta for 4. But,
Is it going to be the best game ever again, Joe?
What?
Medal of Honor.
It should be pretty good, yeah. I didn't say it was the best game ever. Cheryl said it was the best game
true,
ever.
that is true.
I said it was pretty awesome.
And she said game of the fucking year.
Yeah.
So, let's get away from that. All right, well, I think we should take a quick break before we go into other stuff, because one of the games we do need to talk about is Tony Hawk HD, right? Which I understand you've got as well, Joe? Yep. So we'll come into that after the break, I think, and continue on from there. Piece of music though, Sean. Do you want to set this one up for us?
Yeah, I chose it from original Tony Hawk's because it is missing from the new HD version, probably due to licensing and what have you. But it's Dead Prez and hip hop.
See you in 5 minutes.
Fake records. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 my dog is bigger than hip hop. It's bigger than hip hop. One thing about music, when it hit, you feel no pain. White folks that controls your brain. I know better than that. That's game, man. We ready for that. 2 soldiers head of the pack. Matter of fact, who got it? And where my army at? Rather attack and not react. Back to beats, it don't reflect on how many records get sold on sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Whether your projects put on hold in the real world. These just people with ideas. They just like me and you when the smoke and cameras disappear again. The real world is bigger than all these fake records. Wait, po folks got the millions and my woman's disrespected. If you check 1 2, my word of advice to you is just relax. Just do what you got to do. If that don't work, then kick the facts. If you a fighter, rider, bada, flame igniter, crowd exciter, or you wanna just get high and just say it. But then if you a lie, pants on fire, wolf cry, agent with a Y, I'm gonna know it when I play it. It's bigger than hip hop. It's bigger than hip hop.
All right, we're back, and officially bigger than hip hop. Joe, we were with you.
Yes, we were. And I was just about to discuss Tony Hawk's HD.
Yeah, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a weird HD re-release, isn't it? It's not Tony Hawk's 1.
No.
It's kind of like a mashup of 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Because there's not many levels. This is why I was kind of... I initially thought this was all levels from 1 and 2, and then there was DLC for levels from 3. There is DLC from levels from 3, but there's also DLC from levels from 2 and 1, I believe.
Oh, right.
So it's kind of like it's just a new game, really.
No.
Well,
it's kind of Tony Hawk's Fusion, isn't it? It's a remix HD.
It's a new game.
No.
No. So it's a new Tony Hawk's game that uses 2 levels from 1 and 2, but it's in HD.
Yeah.
Okay. What's it like?
It's really good. It's classic Tony Hawk's over again. Shinier now, and you get to use your avatar if you get it on Xbox. So
that's true. I mean, it looks phenomenal. For all the talk of Hideo Kojima saying that Metal Gear Solid can't be done on Xbox, this kind of blows it out of the water, really, because it is a PS1 game and it looks fantastic. It's probably the best looking HD game done so far.
Really?
Yeah, most of them you can tell. It just looks like the old game, just slightly shinier. This just looks like a brand new game.
I'm not with you on that at all. I think it looks good for a PS1 game. I don't think it looks like the best HD game
What
remake.
was
It's
better?
just like higher textures, right? It's just higher textures, same polygon count. It looks like
Right.
levels are all quite. There's not like loads of detail in these levels.
There's not much detail to be put in, is there? They're kind of just like ramps and shit.
I know. Well, okay. So compare it to Skate, which looks better.
Or
Skates,
a boxed
So
release
that's what I'm
title.
saying. What I'm saying is it could look better, couldn't it? The actual levels, detail in the levels could look better.
I mean, if they put the budget in to release it as a box title, then you're on a fair playing field. But
Okay.
what you're saying is you're comparing an arcade game to a box title.
no, you said it couldn't look better.
It couldn't look better for a HD remake.
All right, okay. So it looks good, is what we're
Yeah.
saying. You know?
Yeah, it
but
does.
I still think the look of it. It looks just like high res textures on
Okay.
on a fairly bland environment. So it was the thing that's kind of let it down for me the most. The characters look pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
The avatar stuff's interesting.
Yeah, I just used my avatar on it.
Yeah, I'm playing as Tony.
Yeah, the problem using your avatar though is they're always well too big for the skateboard. So his feet come well off the skateboard and his head is just massive. But it's good fun, you know.
I did have a thrash with my avatar on the first map in his Daedric armor. It's quite amusing.
Yeah, it just reminds me so much of 1, especially, you know, the beginning level on 1, coming down that ramp and
Yeah.
jumping over the bowl and smashing straight through that glass building above.
Yeah, I mean, there's some crazy stuff in there. I find that advertising obviously has all changed due to licensing and stuff. So you kind of got monster stickers in there now, and a lot of the stuff that was in obviously the previous versions has been taken out.
You're collecting DVDs now. I noticed that.
Yeah,
Videotapes.
they replaced the
That's sort of been
videotapes.
modernised, I
Yeah.
guess. It should be maybe something more futuristic than that, but I don't know. What levels are in it then? Because it's like so you talked about it then, Joe. The first level is that warehouse level.
Yes.
Tony Hawk's 1.
Yeah.
What other sort of classic levels are there?
So there's School 2 from Tony Hawk's 2, ain't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the mall,
Yep,
the hangar.
yep,
You were saying Downhill Jam.
yep.
Those are the ones I can remember.
There's only one level that I haven't locked, which is the open ramp skate park, which is the 3 big bowls. I can't remember if it's from 1 or 2.
Okay, but it's got the level in it anyway with the helicopter where you grind
Yes.
the rails
Yeah,
and
yeah,
takes
yeah.
off. Yeah, that's all that matters. Okay. What about like hidden characters and stuff? Anything like that? Is there any other weird
So
stuff?
far, I know Officer Dick is in there. I meant to have a look online and see if anyone had unlocked the complete lot. I've unlocked the Invisible Man, so I don't know if Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Darth Maul are in there. It's possible. There's a lot of stuff in my extras that I still haven't unlocked.
Yeah.
And you tend to have to get all of the goals and cash per level to get the good shit. But then you can have Robocop if your avatar's dressed as Robocop.
That's true. Yeah, it gives you a few more options, I suppose. So what's it like going back to then? Because obviously this is kind of Tony Hawk 1 stuff. There's things that have been added to the series since then. Obviously, have been taken out for this release.
Yeah, there are, because you can do in kind of Project 8, I think it is. They've got the flip tricks where you're standing static with your skateboard.
Yeah, or even
And
stuff
you
like
can
just
get
getting off
off
your
the
skateboard.
skateboard, yeah.
But there's other more menial stuff like you can't do spine transfers in this.
No, I think they're coming with the Tony Hawk's free pack, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. And was it some of the reverts and manuals?
Manuals are in there.
Okay, then is it just the reverts then that aren't for extending your tricks? I
Yeah.
can't remember what the changes were from. It was Tony Hawk's 3 in particular that gave a lot of the sort of core mechanic changes in the series.
It might make the game significantly easier. I mean, the thing that I forgot about Tony Hawk's is how twitchy the controls are, and how you get into certain positions where you kind of go off the side of a ramp or something and the camera goes nuts and you don't know if you're going up or down. And towards the end, like certainly Downhill Jam is a fucker of a level to start getting the big points on. And I mean the 6 score on that is like 300,000. I'm struggling to get 150,000, which is the pro score.
I just forgot how much they hide in this game. So there's always little sections you can get into. So like with the hangar, you grind across the propeller and it opens up that door. And in the school, you have to go make a weird jump up onto a roof, and you get over. And then there's like another section that's walled off, and there's a swimming pool on there. That for the life of me, don't know how to get to.
I
and
think
stuff
you have
like
to drop
this.
through a skyline or something to get
Yeah,
to the
so you have to
swimming
get onto this building off I know roughly where it is, but I don't know how to get into it. And yeah, I just forgot how much they hide in that game and how much bonus stuff there is if you work at it.
pool. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to YouTube stuff. I don't think I've got the patience to work at this game after all these years.
Yeah. Well, this is back to the time when Tony Hawk's was great as well. You know, it's like before, like say, Proving Ground and American Wasteland. Oh man, that was bad. And before any of that getting off the skateboard bullshit, that suddenly, you know.
But I mean, you say it's bullshit, but I kind of miss it. In places on this game, I want to be able to get off my skateboard and just run somewhere rather than trying to skate there, because in certain places it is a fucking nightmare.
I suppose, yeah. Well, I don't know. I was always a really big fan of that whole just trying to trick the longest freaking trick you can imagine, and that was a real core of these sort of two games. Where you just keep going and going and going, and the excitement sort of builds up. I don't want to climb buildings and stuff, get all Uncharted on it like American Wasteland did.
What I would love to do is just be able to stop still on my skateboard and look around.
That is a killer. I keep thinking the right analog, because I'm pretty sure Tony Hawk's 1 came out before analog control. I'm sure it was just on standard D-pad PlayStation 1 pads. And so, yeah, I'm constantly with the right analog stick trying to see where that last dollar is to collect.
Yeah. And
it's just like my right analog stick doesn't do fuck all. It is quite frustrating in places.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier about the twitchy controls, and like you were saying, we're just trying to get that last dollar. There's points where you know how to get to it and how to jump it. You just can't fucking get the jump at the perfect time, get the grind, and it's awesome, but so hard sometimes just to try and get those tricks right.
Yeah, I still stand by my statement that Sean Palmer's is the perfect amount of control.
Yeah, still never played it, no matter how much you wanted me to.
I'd like to see Sean Palmer's HD. That would make me a happy man.
Dave Mirra BMX.
And yeah, Dave Mirra was pretty badass as well.
So is the soundtrack still there? Because obviously a big part of the Tony Hawk games was the soundtrack. We've mentioned obviously that Dead Prez is not in this version now.
Yeah, the majority of the soundtrack is the same out of, again, it's tracks from 1 and 2. There are tracks missing, and I don't think they've added new tracks that I'm aware of. The thing that's a kicker is they've taken out a lot of the options, so you can't, so far as I'm aware, you can't select what music you're listening to, which you used to be able to do on old Tony Hawk's.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Although I suppose, you could make a mix CD and put it in your Xbox and play it in the background anyway.
Yes, you could. Just download all the music from the previous ones.
Yeah, exactly. But that was one of the big deals for Tony Hawk, I suppose, was the music, especially at that time, because you didn't get a lot of licensed music in games anyway.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, we've got CDs now, so let's put them on there. I might check this out. I can imagine it being a game that lasts you for a while, just because everyone comes back to Tony Hawk, right?
Yeah.
So just having it there would be cool. I'll be interested to see how much they're going to milk the DLC for it.
Yeah.
And also how much DLC costs. Is there any DLC out already?
No, not I'm aware of.
Okay.
I've looked at kind of add-ons recently, and I didn't see any there.
All right.
I also watched The Wizard this week as well.
Was it the first time you've watched it?
Yeah. So I've never watched it, and you two were telling me that it's like Nintendo the movie.
I did also watch it this week because I'd only ever seen it once before.
That's nuts. I periodically watch this movie every about 6 months just to do it and introduce every new person that comes into my life has to at some point watch this movie. It's important. California.
And yeah, it's interesting you saying to me the other day, you always think it was made in the 80s, but it's not.
No, exactly. Because
it's made in the early 90s.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not
made
sure.
Made
exactly.
in 1989.
Oh, is it? It's 89.
Yeah,
That
It's
makes
the year after I was born. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's great. This movie blows me away just for the simple reason being of it was genuinely the first time I'd seen Super Mario Bros. 3.
Yeah.
I mean, it's historically known for that anyway. They debuted Super Mario Bros. 3 in this movie, and it's a part of the movie where it is a surprise anyway.
Yeah.
But for me, as a kid watching that was my introduction also to Super Mario 3.
Same as.
And it was like, fuck. That's just, it was crazy seeing that. And it gives me loads of warm, fuzzy feelings about the launch of Super Mario 3 and how excited I was at the time for that game and seeing TV ads and various other stuff.
Yeah, it's weird because I didn't have an NES at that point. I played Mario 3 predominantly when it came out at a friend's house. And that was kind of maybe 6 months after it was released, and there was all the hyperball, so I kind of played it on the downside of the hyperball of Super Mario 3.
Okay, yeah, because the movie was long before the game came out over here, wasn't
it?
It was like maybe even years.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. But that the movie's brilliant anyway. I just think it's a really cool movie. It's got loads of great lines in it, from Lucas with the power glove saying it's so bad. and
the fact it's got power glove in it alone is
well, it's just got every Nintendo product.
Yeah, I imagine most people are like, what the fuck's a power glove? But the fact it's got Nintendo Power Line as well. But
Yeah,
she's
exactly.
like on the phone to them, kind of getting all the tips, and the guy at the other end's like going through manuals and manuals of video games.
It's just
like,
a Nintendo catalog there, you know. It's like that's all that stuff, but that's why it was awesome, you know. You say, okay, no one knows what power, but then they knew what a Power Glove was, and then they knew what Nintendo, you know, the power line was, and all the games referencing. It's everything about that is just like spot on. But I think the movie's genuinely pretty good as well. I quite like it.
Yeah.
You know, kids going on a road trip across America, go to a video game championship or whatever tournament to enter because this guy's the wizard.
Yeah.
You know, and it's got cool bad guys. It's kind of I kind of like it's got Christian Slater in it. What's the deal with the score counters on the end? The little knights running with the like thing, like how they does not even clear how they're scoring Super Mario Brothers 3. You know, it's like kids dying and stuff, and it's like he's got the P-wing and various other things. It's like it's just a cartoon knight running across.
Yeah,
Really 90s sort of.
Yeah, it's like it's running off the score in the bottom corner of Super Mario 3. But yeah, it's just really weird, and it's the bit where she's like, "Find the warp zone," and she just like gets the flute, and she's like, "It's just weird." It's like, how do they know all of this
it's
stuff?
like, how does she know that the flute is gonna be the thing that causes you to warp?
She's played Zelda games before. You know.
And then, yeah, it's just at the end where everything happens. They're in the pickup truck. They're driving home. Everyone's happy, and they've taken the little girl who lives in Reno, just taken her home with them. You know, taking her from her dad, just kidnapping her. No, everyone's happy
Her
with
dad,
her.
who
Though.
you never see for the entire thing. She's just like at a truck stop somewhere, just sitting around, picking up strange boys.
Yeah, it's weird. She's quite happy to be kidnapped by this family, and just,
Nothing strange about Fred Savage. He's like the poster child back then. It's like he's the kid you'd want.
Yeah.
He's like if you had a daughter and you had just left her at a truck stop somewhere, she ended up with Fred Savage. You'd be like, that's cool. She's all right. He's gonna look after her. You know, he's a sensible young chap.
Kids done good.
I'm glad you watched it, Joe. It's cool. It's a good movie. It's an important movie. That could have been an educating journey itself.
Yeah.
could have been, yeah, but wasn't.
No, but there
Good
you
film
go.
though.
It's one. Well, it's certainly in my eyes, I think it's the best video game movie.
I don't know. It's got some contenders out there.
Like,
There's loads of them. Dead or Alive, there's Blood Rain. There's loads of great video game movies out there.
Alone in the Dark.
Yeah.
With Christian Slater as well.
Yeah, true. Well, good segue onto the games I've been playing
Yeah.
this week then, because I picked up a copy of Alone in the Dark. I don't know necessarily why I did. It was partly because it was only $2.99, and I thought actually I could give that a go.
But it being $2.99 is £10 too much.
Yeah, maybe. It's not. It's so we know this game's bad. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I mean, obviously it's like 6 years old now, 7 years old. Maybe 6.
I think at the time my opinion of it was it's fucking horrible.
Well, it does some interesting stuff. Obviously, I mean, I loved Alone in the Dark. I'm a big fan of the Alone in the Dark series anyway,
Right.
from the old PC games. They were cool. They were early Resident Evils, essentially, you know.
Yeah.
And so, just seeing where that went is worth a look, I
Interesting.
suppose. But it does that interesting episodic stuff to it, because it's the game is broken into episodes and does that quite well. Actually, does it? I would say easily as well as Alan Wake does.
Right.
With a cool little like it has previously on Alone in the Dark.
Okay.
Before each episode, and they're done really well.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was a long time ago that I played.
Yeah, some of the storytelling aspects are really, really nicely done. It's made by, is it Eden Games, who are the Test Drive guys? So it's
Right.
full of Test Drive Unlimited adverts throughout the whole
really?
thing and posters everywhere, yeah. But because of that, and I forgot about this, there's weird driving sections in it.
Yeah.
And they have that, and in fact the whole game has a strange attention to detail on weird little things. So, you know, in Test Drive you could wind down the windows and like open glove boxes and other pointless shit that you're not supposed to be doing when you're driving.
Right.
You can do all that in here. So you
Okay.
can lock the car, you can turn on the lights, you can open the glove box, you can almost sort of like recline the seats and stuff. Just weird extra stuff that you shouldn't really be able to do, you don't need to do. And the game's like that throughout. It's because you're constantly, you're interacting with weapons and objects and picking them up and setting things on fire. It has quite a cool fire mechanic in it because you need fire to kill all the enemies. So you'll pick up a chair, for example, and then the right stick becomes your sort of free movement of your arms when you're holding an object, and then you can sort of like put that in fire, and then you've got a flaming chair, and a flaming chair's far more awesome to hit someone with than a normal chair. So all that's kind of interesting. The biggest downside it has to it is that there's no camera control.
No.
Because the right stick is doing those hand movements, you've got no free camera control, and that drives you absolutely mental because it makes the game feel so old and weird to play, and no fun. That it just kind of wrecks it. You can go into a first-person mode as well.
Yeah.
This is my other gripe with it: is it can't really decide whether it wants to be third person or first person. Because the first-person stuff, which you have to use for shooting and if you want to extinguish fires with a fire extinguisher or anything like that, that actually works really well.
Right.
Actually, if it was a first-person game, I'd be kind of interested with it because it's got all that interactivity that you see in a Duke Nukem game of turning lights off, flushing toilets and whatnot. But actually, looks kind of okay. Third person though is where it's supposed to be, and
which is kind of like it's like set screens, isn't it, from weird camera angles as well.
Yeah,
a lot like Resident Evil.
Yeah, it's not so much. It does that every now and then. It like forces a camera perspective on you.
Because those are the bits that kind of stand out in my mind.
But mainly it's still going. It's more Alan Wake throughout the whole thing. But there's weird segments. It kind of does. It's like a game that goes, oh, we can do these bits. So these are the bits that happen over and over again.
Yeah.
Like climbing on wires and rappelling down buildings. You do an awful lot of it. The setup's kind of cool. You know, it has an awesome late title card. So you play the whole first chapter and it's not said anything. It's just kind of dropped you in. A building's exploded. There's weird portals everywhere, whatever. And then you escape to Central Park, and then it goes alone in the dark.
Okay.
And it's like, yeah, I kind of like that. It's got some really nice presentation issues. It looks pretty dreadful. You know, it's one of those games that at the time made a big deal out of people's faces and shows you a lot of close-ups of like skin textures and stuff. And at the time you'd have gone, wow, that's like really realistic. But now it's like, oh man, he looks like you wouldn't dare show a character's face that close to the screen nowadays if it looked like that.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, Alone in the Dark. I've been playing it. I played a bit of it. I mean, the problem with Alone in the Dark as well, and it's another interesting thing that Atari did when they put it out, is you can skip levels.
Yeah.
So you can't really get stuck in this game. Also, if you get stuck on the same bit over and over again, it eventually just goes, yo, do this. And explicitly tells you. But you can also just fast forward chapters. You can just skip to the next episode.
I think there was a lot of complaints about that at the time, that it kind of ruined the game.
Well, you don't have to do it. I think anyone who complains about it is a bit of a tosser anyway, because it's like, well, you just did it. You know, it's like you don't have to do it if you don't want to. But weirdly, it's something Nintendo went on a big push for. You can do it in a lot of Nintendo games, a lot of Wii games. But it's a bit strange. And once you do it once, you never stop doing it. Yeah, you just give up far more easily. It's got some cool driving bits. There's an awesome driving section where you're driving to Central Park and the whole world's exploding around you and it's tossing vehicles back and forth. Finicky as fuck, but looks kind of special.
Yeah.
So I played a bit of it, but then I did start skipping levels, and then before you know it, you've skipped right to the end.
Did you do much of the inventory stuff? Did you see much of that?
Yeah. I mean, you have to do that a fair bit in there because he kind of opens his jacket, doesn't it? It's all like first person, and you've got he's got this jacket that when he's wearing it just looks like a fairly sleek leather jacket.
Right.
But then when you open it up, you're like, man, you've got 4 bottles of water in here, a torch, a gun, some matches, some batteries. Like, you'd be huge. I should be able to see that as you walk around. But you have to combine stuff like Resident Evil, don't you? So you have to put batteries in your torch, and you make things. You make Molotov cocktails and stuff.
But doesn't it happen in real time? Aren't you being attacked at the same time?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's like a massive pain in the ass. No, like
you need to prepare for battles, and once you're in one, it's like you're not really gonna have time easily to make a Molotov cocktail. You need to have already made a Molotov cocktail, and bullets are pretty scarce as well. And then there's no way to fight if you don't have a gun or any weapons. You can't fight. There's no fisticuffs.
Right.
You know, considering you've got all this movement of his arms, you can't punch them. You need to grab a conveniently placed chair or a broom. I'd beat someone to death with a broom. And although in real life that'd be really quite brutal, it just looked like Saints Row. It was like really like, this is pathetic. Why? No, it was like a dodgy wrestling. You know, sometimes in wrestling games, underneath the ring, you'll find a broom.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's crap. I don't want the broom. I want the baseball bat or the steel chair.
Right.
It's not a great game. It is interesting. It does some interesting. The music's pretty good. The most interesting parts of it are the TV-like parts of it, the Alan Wake stuff, and that, I think now in a world post Alan Wake, it's kind of interesting to see how much Alone in the Dark did before Alan Wake, and did quite well. But I wouldn't really recommend it to anyone.
No,
$2.99, no update.
Really?
Get me right. So this game, it must be 5. It's definitely 5 years old. It's maybe 6 years old. I put it into the 360. No update whatsoever.
That's crazy.
You know, it's never been in my 360
considering
before.
like you buy a game this Friday coming, and as soon as you put it in, there'll be a fucking update.
But I think that maybe more tells you about they just did not give a shit about this game, rather than the fact that it's brilliant. I think it's a case of just like no update.
This is exactly how he wanted this game to be. We don't need to update this.
So Alone in the Dark, it was
an experience.
Instant action. I got straight in and played that game. I haven't played much else this week. I did have a dip into indie games as you guys did, and played obviously Starwings and some of the stuff we talked about already. But I did play a game called Exorcist Ninja, or maybe Ninja Exorcist. I can't really remember. Looked a little bit like, it looked like they were going for the dishwasher sort of vibe.
Okay.
And not terrible. Like I said earlier about games with loads of text, this game had a load of text. Like it starts you up and you're like, I'm in the trial, so I'm thinking, well, I've only got like a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
And then it does a full-on scrolling Star Wars text.
Is that not skippable?
No, it's speed upable,
Oh,
but
right.
speed upable to a point of where that would be the comfortable readable speed.
Right.
And so you're just there for ages doing that. And then it drops you into the world, you're a ninja. It's a bit like Saboteur, I suppose, or Strider to a degree. And you're just jumping off buildings. Strider's actually a pretty good comparison, because you can jump off the walls and stuff like that. The combat was alright. That was what I kind of liked about it. So it's 2D. The art looks quite fancy it's quite fancy. Like, the art looks quite dodgy as well. Looks alright when nothing's in motion.
Right.
In motion, there's just no frames of animation whatsoever. Until you get into a fight, and then that is pretty cool. But it is just basic, Strider stuff. I'm killing enemies and things. Nothing more to it whatsoever.
Oh, okay.
80 points. You could have a look. It's not going to set the world on fire. It doesn't sound as good as Raptor Island or whatever it was that you were talking about.
Well, maybe we can swap. I'll download Ninja
yeah,
Exorcist, you download Raptor Resort, and I have a question for Joe. Played Strider?
No.
You will soon. So Exorcist Ninja or Ninja Exorcist, which one is worth maybe a look. I don't know what the Exorcist part of it was, because it was just a ninja beating up ninjas, and they kind of turned into little ghosts and floated away when you killed them. But
Maybe you should have read the text.
Maybe
Maybe they were just possessed ninjas and those weren't ghosts, the evil spirits leaving.
It's maybe true.
After you've chopped off their heads.
Other than that, I haven't really dipped into my Xbox a lot. I picked up the Minecraft skins, the free skins from Summer of Arcade.
Yeah,
they were
those.
quite good.
Yeah.
For a free pack, have you seen those, Joe?
Yeah, I've seen them.
For a free pack, I was really quite
I
impressed.
think
Officer
I'm running
Dick's
around.
in there.
Yeah, he is.
You know?
Yeah. I'm running around as one of the characters from Hybrid.
I'm just
Okay.
Tuxedo Steve.
Yeah, Tuxedo Steve's the way to go, I think.
Yeah.
Really.
Steve Bond, as we call him now.
Steve Bond. License to build. That wasn't funny, guys. Come on.
Oh, sorry.
Shall we educate some Joe?
Yeah.
Once upon a time, there was a boy named Joe. He didn't play many video games as a child. He was too busy out running and jumping through fields, perhaps stealing apples. But then one day, he found himself inexplicably on a video game podcast, and two guys, Mike and Sean, vowed to take him back through time to play the games he missed. This is Educating Joe.
Okay, educating Joe. Batman Returns.
Yeah, it's. I think it's quite topical.
I don't know if it's topical.
Well, Dark Knight's just come out, hasn't it? Dark
Yeah.
Knight Rises, not Dark Knight.
No, exactly. Dark Knight Rises has just come out in the cinema and is setting the world on fire. So we thought we'd set Super Nintendo on fire with Batman Returns. Konami game, side-scrolling, Final Fight clone.
To a degree.
Tell me why. Tell me why not.
Well, it kind of does a bit more than Final Fight, doesn't it?
Does it, Joe?
Yeah, you have your batarangs where it's fun fight. You don't have anything like that.
Well, you can pick up a knife off the floor, I suppose.
Yeah,
It does have driving sections.
it does.
It has sort of into the screen driving sections, but we'll kind of gloss over those a little bit, I think, because they're a bit naff. What did you think of this, Joe?
I really liked it. It was a great game. Had some great animations in there, like you guys were saying with the whole grapple. People throw them into glass windows, smash their heads together. Even though it took me ages to figure that one out, because I was expecting a button for grab, but no, you just walk into someone.
No, yeah, so that's what
so
I
you
love
got
about
to
it.
throw a punch and then walk into them, just so you don't get punched while you're trying to walk into them. And
But that was quite common in quite a lot of Konami beat-em-ups.
Yeah.
And that's one of the mechanics I really love about it, is that there is no grab button. You do just literally walk into people, and you can do that thing where you're sort of like, you're above them or below them and you walk up
Coming
into them. And it's kind of a safe way of getting to them and grabbing them. But the throwing stuff's awesome. That's kind of the core of this game as far as I'm concerned. It's throwing somebody into the background, into the floor, two enemies together, heads bash. Nice.
I did find myself doing a lot of drop kicks, so just Batman jumping in the air and drop kicking people.
Yeah, I think that's kind of standard affair for these sorts of games. You need to spend a lot of time jumping and fly kicking people. I think it's the same with Double Dragon a lot of the time, wasn't it?
Well, it's often a good escape move, isn't it? It's kind of like
Yeah.
it's your role sort of thing. You either get into combat or out of combat with a flying kick.
Yeah.
quite often. I like this game because it's chunky. It feels really big and chunky and
Solid.
heavy, like Gears of War.
It's
Sort of
got weight and gravitas to everything.
And it's cool. Batman is cool. Like, all the design, I think visually it looks impressive.
Yeah.
Batman looks cool in this game. You know, it's because bear in mind this is Michael Keaton Batman.
Yeah.
Tim Burton Batman, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it all looks awesome. It really follows the movie quite closely as well.
And I think it captures the mood and essence of the film really well, I think.
Yeah, I just like the bits in between level where it comes up with a little picture of like Penguin and just has little text scrolling.
Yeah, it does. It does like a Ninja Gaiden cutscenes for it, doesn't it? With static photos ish, like 5 separate colours on the screen at any one time, and then just text underneath. And that they're all right. They're the bits that kind of date it, I think, the most now.
Yeah, certainly.
But it's fucking brilliant. The sound is great.
Yeah, it's pretty tough as well.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. It's not a very long game though. It's only about an hour and a half
Yeah.
in total. You can get through it sort of fairly quickly. But it is, you're right. It can be quite tough.
Some of the enemies, it's like you get the guys with the RPGs and they're just like fucking pain in the arse trying to dodge the rocket and trying to get close to them.
Yeah, the guys on stilts at the beginning.
I didn't even fucking bother trying to. I just walk underneath them, and yeah, some of them. The bosses are really hard, but it was just like I was fighting these guys, and it's just this giant guy with a paper in front of him. And it's like I assume that's the boss, and then as soon as I destroyed everyone, the paper tears and he just comes at me. But it's weird because you have to keep fighting them for ages before you can take the health down. So it's like you have a bar of health to take down that it doesn't show you, and then it'll allow you to start.
Okay.
Yeah, and some of them, it's like Catwoman, was just a fucking pain in the arse. she like I got to her with 2 continues left, and then she used both my continues, and just it was like before I got one hit, and she'd taken 2 lives off of me instantly because she fucking. I fucking hate her. Fucking hate Catwoman.
That's fair enough. It has as well. It has like the Golden Axe style families of civilians that run past you in the streets. They kind of don't do anything, but just they're just there. It's literally straight out of Golden Axe.
Yeah,
they've just been in costuming, put in different outfits, and then just run out.
Put into kind of Victorian outfits to be in Batman instead.
I do like the way they break up the levels, so it's not always just you going to your right. So there's little sections where you're on elevators, jumping between and like taking people down, and then there's the level where you're going across like windowsills and you're using your grappling hook.
So that's my only kind of gripe with the game really is the grappling hook. I find it a pain in the arse to use. Really small swings.
Yeah.
Is what you do because there's a whole level where the building's on fire.
And
it's just like, oh god, man, make it stop. He's Batman. He can walk through fire. That's what Batman does, right?
If Batman would just jump out a window and glide to safety.
So yeah, it's
I mean, yeah,
Batman.
it's kind of not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a high quality title at the time, certainly.
You got your stun move with your cape.
Yeah.
Every Batman game has a stun move with a cape. Yeah. You got that's the 3 moves. I think it's punch, stun, and jump. Pretty much.
I didn't have a stun move.
You should have done.
But you was having issues with your test tubes as well, weren't
Yeah,
you?
it wouldn't let me use my test tubes.
Yeah.
Isn't there a bat one as well? Doesn't he call him bats at some point?
No.
I don't know. I can't really remember. I know you've got batarangs, and there's the test tubes, which is kind of your smart bomb. Yeah.
Yeah. When the screen goes white.
Yeah, there might be something with bats. I'm not entirely
I
sure.
vaguely remember something with bats, but I might be making it up.
It's a great game.
Yeah, it's really good.
I think as far as sort of 2D
Movie.
sort of and movie tie-ins as well in particular.
Yeah.
But even just as a 2D sort of brawler, it kind of works really well. It's strange. Anything that is kind of strange with it, and not for the source material, but actually just for those sorts of games. It's weird. It's only one player.
Yeah, but who would you play as player 2?
Another Batman. Yeah, that's it.
You reckon?
Batman 2. Yeah, why not? Like that would be fine. It would just be nice to have another player. You can't have another player. Batman Returns didn't have anyway. Catwoman maybe.
Yeah, but she's in there as a villain.
Yeah, I would have liked to have played that with another person. That would have made it easier.
Yeah, it would have been a fucking damn sight easier with another person.
Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah. Yeah, or just one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Basically, any other character from another side-scrolling beat 'em up, like Cody or Guy, Hager. That'd have been sweet. Crossover, a Konami brawler crossover would be one of the best things ever.
You reckon?
Taking like some modder should do that. Taking levels from like Turtles Arcade and Simpsons Arcade and Final Fight. Oh, Final Fight's Capcom, isn't it? But any of that stuff, and just use the sprites and the levels as they are, and just mix it all together. That'd be sweet. That's what my dreams are like. So, in closing, Joe, you liked it. It's good.
Yeah, I've never been a massive fan on side-scrolling brawlers and things like that. I've always I've always had trouble just like trying to fight multiple enemies. I don't know why. I can do it on everything else, but side-scrolling brawlers, I've always had trouble like going up and down and fighting. I just find myself jumping around a lot and throwing punches and kicks.
See, I think that is a true product of the time of when you were born, because like those were the majority of games back when we were kids, and I love them because of it. But they're not great, you know.
No.
Like when everyone brings one out on XBLA now, there are the odd hits. Castle Crashers obviously was a good game, but a lot of them just don't work. They just fail. They're not interesting games anymore because they're designed for you to pump money into an arcade machine.
Yeah.
But I love that stuff. So it's weird that you don't get on with it, but they're totally legitimate.
Yeah, but besides that, I really enjoyed playing it. It was a really good movie tie-in, and it was great fun.
It's Batman.
Yeah.
End of the day.
Who doesn't want to be Batman and punch someone in the face
Exactly.
and go, "I'm Bat"? I did when my brother came and go, "I'm Batman," just punch someone in the face.
Well,
Who doesn't want to be Michael Keaton?
yeah, Michael Keaton was a badass Batman.
Exactly. So there we go. All right. Well, that's Batman Returns. Next week we're going to be looking at another game, which is damn fine. Every game for Educating Joe so far has been on SNES or Mega Drive. We're going to branch out a little bit.
Yeah.
We're going to go old school PC.
Yeah, the PC version of it.
I might even go the whole hog and get the old Amiga out and 57 discs. And just, load it in one by one. But we're going to play Syndicate anyway.
Yeah.
Is this Bullfrog?
It is, yeah.
Syndicate. I don't know where to start on this game, Joe. It's just brilliant.
This is Molyneux at his finest.
It's true.
That's it. I don't play it now. You say Molyneux. Don't never say Molyneux.
Well,
This is when he was good. Though.
Yeah,
this is when he was really good.
Yeah.
He was a
Is
pioneer.
it before he started lying?
Yeah, promises
Before he-
were not made.
Before he started telling Molyneux?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna like this. It's a big one. You're gonna have to start playing it now though, because it's a much deeper game than any other
Yeah, I
one
know.
we've played so far.
I do know a lot about it.
If anyone else wants to play along, obviously just dig out your old copies of Syndicate.
Or grab it off of Steam or
And
something.
under no circumstances are we talking about the recently released Syndicate.
No.
No. And we'll check in with that then. Should be a good one.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, we're back. That's a show, I think. We've got a couple of little bit of admin to sort out before we go, but that's episode 27, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling pretty good about it.
I'm glad you are.
Good. So obviously each week we've been running a competition to win fabulous games from our good friends at Excalibur Publishing. This week, some good news and some bad news. Bad news is we've no winner for this week, so no one has claimed Bus and Cable Car Simulator San Francisco.
Boo.
Yeah, boo indeed. But that leads me to my good news of it means it's a rollover. So this week, you can find yourself running away with a copy of Bus and Cable Car Simulator San Francisco and Ski Region Simulator. Now, Ski Region Simulator from Excalibur Publishing looks pretty good. Looks a lot like Stone Quarry Simulator, if I remember correctly, but without the Stone Quarry.
More snow.
More Robot Wars type industrial vehicles. I mean, screenshots look alright. There's a lot of snow. There's a lot of
Moving snow.
shovels, big shovels.
Things blowing snow.
Yeah. Shoveling snow. Snow.
It's a cable car.
Could be. Might as well share tech between the games, isn't they?
Yeah.
To give you a better idea of what this game's like, we should probably tell you a little bit about it. So I'm going to do that now. I should just add, these aren't my words. These are the words of Excalibur Publishing. Head out onto the snow with Ski Region Simulator 2012. Starting with only a single lift and a short trail, your task is to create a world-class resort. Visitor satisfaction is key to your success, so you will need to manicure the slopes with a wide range of equipment from snowcats to snow cannons, each realized in full authentic detail. Explore the huge 4 square kilometer ski zone on foot or by vehicle as you make the decisions on where to construct ski lifts and visitor facilities. Your aim is to turn snow into cold hard cash as you maximize the income from your resort. Only those with a cool business head will prevail as you strive to become a mountain mogul. After a long day on the slopes, ensure your business does not slide downhill by providing the finest entertainment options for your guests while still balancing the budget. Accommodate your visitors in upgradable alpine huts with fine dining for a vacation to remember. Your management skills will be pitted against Mother Nature with a realistic night and day cycle, weather and dynamic events that threaten to wreak havoc and blow an icy chill through your success. Can you please your patrons of the Peace and expand your resort, or will you run your business into a snowdrift? There's more little verbal lyrical puns in that synopsis than there has been in anything else, but also there's some really genuinely exciting stuff which I'd like to point out now. Becoming a mountain mogul sounds pretty good. So does upgradable alpine huts.
I just want the machine that sucks up snow and pumps out cold hard cash.
That's true, yeah. Turning snow into cold hard cash.
Yeah, cold hard cash.
They never miss a trick, you know. Patrons of the Peace. You know, will you run your business to a snowdrift? Man, it's going to blow an icy chill through your success. Who writes these? Also, I like the fact that it's got a night-day cycle and not a day-night cycle. Night comes first in this world.
It might be Shakespeare that writes these, my friend.
I mean, if you're ready to pit your management skills against Mother Nature herself, this sounds like the right thing for you. To win this great copy of Ski Region Simulator and Bus and Cable Car Simulator San Francisco from last week, all you've got to do is answer this simple question. Send your answers to thingsweplay@gmail.com, and if you're the first one to get through with the right answer, you've won both these. We'll announce you on the next show. So, question is then... Things We Play is a podcast hosted by 3 individuals. Sean, Mike and Joe. It's 27 episodes in now and has been running since 2011. To win your copy of Ski Region Simulator and the other one, something about bus and cable cars, yeah. Simply tell us the surname of Joe. So Joe from Things We Play. You know Joe, that's you, right?
Yes, I do believe that is me.
What's Joe's surname? We announce it at the beginning of every episode, so it's not that difficult. It's not Vincenzo, Luigi, Tom Clancy, or anything like that. But just tell us Joe's surname. That couldn't be easier, could it? You know, tell us Joe's surname. Joe, you can't enter this one. Just saying, no, can any members of your family?
I really actually wanted Ski Region Simulator.
We all want Ski Region Simulator. It pains me to have to give it away. But someone's going to get it. Someone out there. One of you. So just tell us Joe's surname. Simple email, thingsweplay@gmail.com. If you're the first person to get that right, and really, seriously guys, fight the urge to not, put some expletive, nasty comment in about Joe. It's not fuckwit, It's not stupid arse face. It's not. It's a normal surname.
I'll be curious to see how many people can spell it correctly.
I'm curious to see if that guy that found you on Battlefield 3 emails in. So you got to spell his surname correctly. That's a good stipulation. But what is Joe's surname? Email us thingsweplay@gmail.com. You could win a copy of Ski Region Simulator and Bus and Cable Car Simulator San Francisco. We'll let you know in 7 days' time. In the meantime, we're going to go play some games. I'm going to go rest my face in a bucket of ice. And we'll see you in 7 days' time for more great gaming chat. You can get in touch with us via the emails, same one as the competition, thingsweplay@gmail.com, or on Twitter @thingsweplay. Be sure to visit thingsweplay.net for just cool updates and stuff. In fact, add in a gallery today. That should be up now, Sean, of some of your artwork. Cool. So you can check out that. But also there's some other good newsings on there to keep you busy in the 7-day hiatus. We'll see you next Tuesday. That's us.
Goodbye.
I and I, Rastafari, High CLICI, one love.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, just don't know what to say to that.
Yeah.